Welcome. You have reached review time with Imperial. Today's review will be Power Book 2, Ghost Season 2, Episode 8. Let's get into it. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video right off the back. This was the biggest episode of the season. Their Power has a history that they keep saying that episode 8-5 is normally their biggest episodes of the season. This episode was big in a sense of the deaths, and a lot of truth came out. So let's just get to it. Pretty much the trailer kind of told majority of everything that was going to happen, and just had to see how everything played out. So in a nutshell, in this, Tariq needs money for Davis McLean, and it starts off with Jenny opening statement of the trial and everything like that. The scene where you see Tariq talking to his lawyer is pretty much him telling that pretty much Jazz is gone. She's going to be adopted. And James St. Patrick, aka Ghost, set it up to where if she had to get adopted because his whole family was taken out, for her to get her name changed so nobody can't find her in the system. So the lawyer pretty much told Tariq, you need to worry about saving yourself, not your sister. So they're going to bring Lauren to the stand. Of course, Davis let Tariq hear the recording of Lauren. He found out pretty much that Lauren was manipulated by Carrie. He went to school, pretty much approached Carrie because they went to Lauren's room because Lauren was missing. They didn't know Lauren was in protective custody, but Tariq pretty much he put the guilt trip on Carrie and let her know that pretty much, he manipulated her by telling her, I thought you was really for your students, and, you manipulated Lauren for your personal gain. So he said, if you're trying to really help her, won't you take the stand instead of her taking the stand? And so Carrie pretty much approached Jenny and pretty much told Jenny, like, I know that basically she lied, saying that she knew about that Tariq was the interest of Jabari's book before time, and she pretty much suspected Tariq. And so Jenny was like, why you ain't been telling me that? I'd have been had you on the stand. So Jenny put her on the stand, but Tariq knew that he would cross-examine and he would rip Carrie by exploiting that she had sex with 4 people that were part of the whole case. That's Zeke, Detective Whitman, Jabari, plus himself. So that really compromises her, that she will lie to keep her story a certain way. So he tore her up on statement. Basically, it took her credibility away, that she would lie pretty much on Tariq. So it killed her or whatever. So after that, you had Monique. I said Monique. Monet and the family and Lorenzo, they went out to Coney Island and told, she's basically like buying back into that life of loving her husband and the family. However, Diana's still on her mission to find out what's up. So Diana searches the room and she finds this old baby picture of Zeke, and it has a Zeke cross underneath in the back of the picture. And so she calls the birth certificate place, and they pretty much told her that they didn't have a birth certificate of Zeke cross for 2002. So it went away, and now you see the play where the whole scheme with Monet, Kane, Braden, and Effie, the whole scheme was pretty much to rob Mecca and use the GTG to do it or whatever. And he knew they would be goofy enough to go in and go against Mecca to get the drugs so they could get their money. So they had Drew on the back end. They put a power outage on the building. And so when they did the power outage on the building, it made it suspect where Mecca raised concern the chef. And so pretty much at that point, they got word that the hangar where the drugs was being stashed at is being pretty much robbed. So that triggers them to go out there. Meanwhile, they slip in and get some stuff at the house. Drew, that's where Drew came in. But before Drew got up in there, of course, Big Guap was talking all that smack. So Big Guap and Drew started fighting, and Drew killed him, strangled him. So you seeing Drew become more of an animal or whatever. So no, I mean, Big Wop, he been needing to die since season 1, so it wasn't no surprise there. You just knew his time was coming eventually, just didn't know who was going to do it. So nevertheless, it didn't matter with him. So Drew got in the house and he found this ring that Lorenzo was planning to give to Monet. It was this special ring that cost a lot of money. So he got this ring. Pretty much they using that ring to give to Davis as a payment or whatever. So from there, Chef came in the house and Drew had the gun waiting for the chef or whatever. But Kane came basically like, Chef, we need you at the hangar or whatever. So at that moment, Chef came, they got the guns, and they went in. Drew got a chance to see all these guns that Mecca had in this isolated room. So back at this hangar, they went to the GTG hideout and pretty much wiped out the rest of the clan. Mecca was on some old like, well, I gotta find a mole. So he walked up to Kane. Well, he had a knife, and he walked up to Kane like everybody think he might have been going after Kane, and then he slashed the chef's neck. So he killed the chef, thinking he was the mole, but really wasn't. Or he just annihilated whatever, and he really know that Kane was playing him or whatever. So now you got the chef dead, the whole GTG wiped out, plus Big Guap, and now we're at the dinner table. Everybody, Diana made the food, and so pretty much they were saying, what y'all do today? And Lorenzo and Monet said we was out at Coney Island, the next time y'all should come or whatever. Kane pretty much said, I'm tired of enough. I had enough Italian ice. So it's been tension between Monet and Diana. So now all the beans getting spilled. So they testing Diana. So now Diana calling everybody out. So she called Kane out and said, well, Kane was the one who swapped the drugs for the sugar so that he could get in. And so they said, really, Kane, that's what you did? He like, well, he told Monet, well, that's because you shut me out or whatever. So Lorenzo looked like, wow. And so Kane was like, oh, that's how you playing, D? She said, yeah, like that. So he looked at Drew and said, pretty much, Drew, he ain't clip Ev. And so now Lorenzo looking at Drew like, yo, you ain't do that. And they're like, nah. So from there, Zeke pretty much said, well, I didn't see y'all at the game or whatever. So now Monet pissed. So she said, well, I know you was at Tyreek trial or whatever. Basically, calling her a little hot behind or whatever. And so, and I know you having sex with him or whatever. And so Kane was like, I knew you was going to give him the draws, you know what I'm saying, whatever. So from there, and she said, well, I ain't the only one that's and so Lorenzo said, oh man, Diana, I taught you better than that. You could do better than that pretty much. And then Diana, now she's pissed. Now she said, I ain't the only one that's having sex with somebody I ain't supposed to or whatever. So so Zeke pretty much saying, why would y'all want to kill Ev? So Diana pretty much told her like, well, let me clarify. And she was like, she told the business in front of everybody that Zeke was not born in 2002. He was born in 1998. And she pretty much said, he's like, what is she talking about, Auntie? And she was like, because she brought up the name Dante. And he's like, what is she talking about, Auntie? And Diana said, that's not your auntie. That's your mother. And then pulled out she pulled out the birth certificate, slammed it on the table, so she snaps. So she snapped. Drama field. She said, look at it. Diana like, look at it. And she like, what is this? And so now Zeke pissed. He gets up and try to grab him. Um, gets up to leave, and Monet try to grab him. So Zeke is worried about his NBA career, basically saying they're gonna say I try to manipulate my age, for now I could be ineligible to play or whatever. And pretty much he's like, I'm gonna be ineligible to get in the league. And he said, but you lied, you did this. And so Diana, that's where you hear that clip that she pretty much say, I hope you've been lying to all of us our whole life. I hope you whatchamacallit. So Monet looked at her, I'm gonna kill you. So she did that, and so Lorenzo, now he's highly upset. So Zeke, so you had Zeke before time. So nobody don't still know that Mecca is Dante. So Lorenzo looked at Monet with that look like, yo, it's best that you leave right now. Or whatever. So Monet just looked and then she stepped. So she jumped in the car. She's calling Zeke. Zeke's not picking up. So she's thinking like, all right, well, where will he go? So now she's thinking about Carrie. So it shows Carrie at her house drinking wine, just knowing her career is over and everything. And when she get a knock at the door, she answers the door. It's Monet. So she lets Monet in, and she pretty much tells Monet like, they have Monet pretty much say, I lost my whole family tonight, or some lies I told or whatever. And then Carrie was like, well, basically I can I understand because I lost my whole career. And then Monet looked like, why? Because of Zeke. And then Carrie had that look pretty much like yeah. And so Monet made the comment like, well, I can't find him, he'll be looking for you. And I know if as long as you here, he'll never come back to me. And that was it. Next scene, it shows Zeke coming to find Carrie, coming to Carrie's apartment, and knocks on the door, and the door was already cracked open pretty much. And when he comes in, Carrie is hung from the ceiling. So it makes it look like Carrie committed suicide. So right now, it's going to be a little mystery there if pretty much Monet convinced her like, you messed his life up, or you did enough damage, you need to just kill you. She pushed her over the edge to commit suicide, or did somebody else come with Monet and they did the killing and staged it as a suicide or whatever. So that was the 3 deaths. They said it was big deaths. To me, it really wasn't big because Little Guap, he been needed to go since last season. His time's been expired. The chef, it was like, he ain't really do too much. He killed that one guy. I thought he would have had more of an impact on this season. And then Carrie, we all knew, it was just a countdown. But last week I did say in my review, I didn't think they would kill Carrie because I thought that they would allow Carrie's storyline to go on to take, like her. I think her character would have been good for his storyline. So nevertheless, Carrie gone. So we still got some 2 deaths predictions for the rest of the season. Ev is definitely on the list to go. And after Ev, to me, it's Ev and Lorenzo next. Because Zeke has storyline. We already know that somebody's video said that Zeke would be the prediction. I don't know where they got that from when it's already rumors that we're going to meet the woman who raised Zeke next season. So I think it would be best to keep his character alive for that or whatever. Or if he died, then that person would come up to the funeral. So maybe that's still possible. But I don't think the Zeke storyline is over or whatever. So, I think Lorenzo and Ev would be next. But I think it would be safe to say that all the kids between Kane, Drew, and Diana is still going to go. Monet, or whatever. And of course, Effie and and Tyreek pretty much had a moment. He pretty much kind of felt bad that he was protecting Lauren, but she, he don't really know if she really meant to do what she did or was she just pressured. But pretty much Effie was telling him you can't be yourself around her or whatever, and he was like, "You're right." And so then Effie started getting close to him, and he pretty much looked at her and pretty much said, "I thought you wasn't trying to get attached to me, like what I mean, you want to keep your distance." And she basically was like, "Well, it's too late." So it's getting narrowed down where it's going to be a showdown between Effie and Diana over Tariq. I think Lauren is out the picture, but you never know how they write this all in. You know what I mean? But it seemed like I would think that Lauren's parents, when they showed up in Jenny's office, I think they would probably pull her from Stanford. That would be best suited at this moment. Pull her from Stanford or whatever. But nevertheless, Stanfield rather. That was the episode. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video was decent. Till next time.